Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Tom's Gadget Garage. Today I am here with the VMAX VX2 Extreme GT to see just how much range we can squeeze out of a fully charged battery. Now VMAX does claim that this GT version will get up to 43 miles of range in the most ideal conditions, and that's usually with a 165-pound rider cruising around in the slowest speed mode and very ideal conditions. Today we're going to see how much we can get in real-world driving conditions, with me weighing in at approximately 200 pounds and us cruising around in eco mode with the top speed capped at 20.4 miles an hour. Now for today's ride, I will be using Garmin GPS, which is what I use to track all my rides. That way we have a consistent and accurate way of tracking these so we can compare it to some of its competitors. So this GT version of the VMAX VX2 Extreme does come with a 48 volt 16.5 amp hour battery, which is good for 792 watt hours of capacity, which goes above and beyond your typical single motor commuter scooter. So I'm expecting we're going to be doing really good range-wise today. If you've been following my channel for a while, this route might look familiar. This is actually the Powerline Trail, which is what I use for all of my range tests. That way we're as consistent as possible so that we can compare these to some of the other scooters, especially single motor commuter scooters. This particular route is going to have us riding on approximately 70% paved surfaces, as well as 30% hard packed dirt, which is what we're riding on today. And it's important to note that this scooter does not have a suspension. It's designed to be as lightweight and portable as possible, weighing in even with this large battery at just 46 pounds. But as you can see, we're cruising around on this gravel and hard packed dirt surface, and so far it's handling very well. When it comes to the brakes on this scooter, it does have a front drum as well as regenerative braking in the rear motor. And this right hand brake lever is 100% regen, so that activates the rear motor brake when you pull on it. And it is a progressive brake lever, so if I pull on it a little bit, it'll slow us down a little bit. If I pull on it more, it's going to apply more stopping power. So I really like to see that kind of regenerative brake. Some scooters will have a regen brake that'll kick in when you release the throttle. The only issue I have with that is that it kind of takes away your ability to coast the scooter. And so having a dedicated regen lever will allow you, to take full advantage of electronic braking, trickle charging your battery, but also afford you the ability to coast when you want to coast. Now, given that this is a 48 volt scooter, fully charged, we're going to be looking at approximately 54.6 volts. And today we're going to be using 48.8 volts as our turnaround point, which is approximately 60% battery remaining in the tank. All right, folks, a quick update here. We just crossed the 5-mile mark. We've been riding around for approximately 24 minutes, and I'm showing 100% battery on the screen. Voltage 52.9 volts. Good little test of our electronic brakes here. As you can see, no problem bringing us to a stop. And once again, using electronic braking, you're going to reduce wear and tear on that drum brake. All right, so straight up ahead is going to be our pedestrian bridge, which is going to be a little bit of a hill climb test for us. This pedestrian bridge has an 8.5% grade. But if you haven't caught it already, I've already done our extreme hill climb test, which saw us taking this scooter up an over 23% grade. So pretty impressive performance if you haven't seen that. All right, here we go. Throttle's all the way in. We're in eco mode. And we are cruising up, no problem at all, 15, 16 miles an hour. And we're picking up speed. And there we go. We are at the top of the pedestrian bridge, and now we'll have a great opportunity to test out the regenerative brakes. I'll go ahead and pull on this right lever here, which is 100% that rear motor doing all the work. And if I pull that all the way in, as you can see, it's bringing us to a stop, even going down this steep decline. So yeah, that's one of the nice things about this scooter is that you've got a variety of braking options available to you. Quick check-in on the ride comfort. We're currently cruising around on this path, and as you can see, there are gaps or expansion joints between each of these concrete sections here. And you know what? These tires are doing a decent job of absorbing some of that impact. You can feel some of it come through, but nothing that would kind of detract from the comfort of the ride. It's only when you go over particularly bumpy stuff that you start missing a suspension. That's why it's important to note that this scooter is really designed for riding on nice, smooth, paved surfaces. This is by no stretch of the imagination an off-road scooter. So if you plan to be, you know, riding around on particularly bumpy stuff, you might want to look into a scooter with suspension, for example, the VMAX VX2. But for, you know, nice paved surfaces, roads, pathways, things like that, this is a really good scooter for those purposes. So this VMAX VX2 Extreme GT is a little bit of a unicorn of a scooter because normally these, you know, lightweight, you know, 45, 46 pound single motor commuter scooters, they usually don't have a whole lot of power. You know, they're designed to be lightweight, portable, and give you enough power to get the job done. With this scooter, it's got a 500 nominal watt motor, which is capable of cranking out 1,600 watts of peak power, and it's got a tremendous amount of low-end torque. You know, as I was mentioning, I took this on our extreme hill climb tests, and it's an extremely good performer. It even outperforms scooters like the Segway Ninebot Max G3, the Segway ZT3 Pro, even the VMAX VX4, the Apollo Go. I mean, this thing here is able to dig deep and, you know, take us up some of the steepest inclines. All right, folks, we're gonna go ahead and take a quick pit stop here. So there's our VMAX VX2 Extreme GT, and as you can see, very small form factor scooter. I do have the VMAX bag installed on the front, and what I like about this particular bag is that it's got these straps. You can just screw those in, it tightens this down. And this here actually has a quick release, which is nice. If you park your scooter, lock it up, you can easily take your bag with you. I've used some other bags that I got off of Amazon, which are fantastic as well. The difference is those Velcro on and they don't have this like quick disconnect feature. But anyways, if you're curious what I'm carrying around in here, it's my bike pump, you know, for the tires. A nice, small, compact. That way, if I need to air up, I can absolutely do that. I do have slime and stuff and some tools in my backpack, so in the event that I run into any issues, you know, I'm not stranded. I can at least do some maintenance on the side of the road. Battery-wise, the screen's showing 91% or 51.2 volts. Let's go ahead and take a look at our voltage chart. 51.2, so we're at about 78% battery remaining, so we're doing pretty good. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and turn into this park area here, give us an opportunity to test this out on some hills, as well as a cobblestone bridge. I always like coming out here because you got this lake and all of these walking and bike paths out here. Always nice coming out. All right, so here's the cobblestone path. Go ahead and test out the lack of suspension here. Oh gosh. So obviously if you're gonna be riding around paths like that, you definitely wanna be careful. That's where a suspension comes in handy. And we got a super steep hill right here. Throttle's all the way in. And right up and over that on our 46-pound single motor scooter. I guess we can go out onto the dock today. Let's go ahead and check this out. And this is why I like coming out to places like this. Beautiful little water area here. People out fishing, kayaking. Always fun. You know, I didn't even know this place existed until I started this channel, you know. Going out on these scooters, electric bikes, really shrinks the world around you and lets you explore things that you never even knew existed. Got a little ways to go and then we'll get turned around and head on back to where we started. All right, and I'm gonna mark this here as our turnaround point. And we are off to the races. So voltage is around 49.3. So we're gonna give ourselves a little bit extra buffer, especially since I didn't factor in that we'd be riding around in this hilly lake area that we just came out of. We are making very good progress. As of right now, we are at 17 miles. We've been cruising around for about an hour and 12 minutes. Now, something to mention about this VX2 is that both of the drive modes, Eco and Sport, have the same top speed. The difference between those drive modes is going to be torque and acceleration. And so if you want, you know, a more torquey ride, get up to speed a lot quicker, pop it into sport mode. Now, if you want to go above and beyond that, you can always hit this power button 5 times to enable beast mode, and that'll, you know, give you the opportunity to tap into the maximum torque and acceleration settings, as well as a higher top speed of 25 miles an hour. Quick little comfort check in here. My hands are not fatigued or tired at all. As you can see, these grips, they're nice, like kind of rubbery, silicone feeling things with lots of texture. That way you keep the blood flowing. Feet are doing pretty good. You know, we're deep into this ride right now. I don't have any kind of fatigue at the moment, but we'll see how I'm feeling at the end of the ride. All right, so I've just transitioned onto more hard packed dirt, which turns into gravel up ahead, and this here is kind of a washboard surface. That'll give you an idea of what, you know, riding this thing around with no suspension is like. So on this kind of surface, you know, it's bumpy. You can see my hands. You might hear it in my voice a little bit. We'll see how it does on the gravel up ahead. You know, for little short distances, that's not a problem. But I mean, if this is the kind of, you know, riding that you're going to be doing for, you know, many miles nonstop, yeah, that can become tiring. That's where, you know, a full suspension scooter comes into play. But for little short stretches like this, I mean, this is very tolerable. You know, right now we're cruising around at about 16 miles an hour on this surface. You know, just keep in mind this scooter does have street tread and no hybrid tires on this, because once again, this is designed to be ridden on well-paved surfaces. All right, now here's more aggressive gravel right here. And as you can see, this is this is pretty bumpy stuff. All right, back onto the good stuff. Quick update here. We've officially crossed the 20-mile mark, and we've been cruising around for about 1 hour and 26 minutes at this point. Quick update here. We officially crossed the 22-mile mark, which means we have eclipsed the range that we were able to get on the Segway Ninebot Max G2. And just like that, we're now past what we were able to get on the VMAX VX2 LT, as well as the Segway Ninebot Max G3. So both of those scooters have fallen to the mighty VX2 Extreme GT. Here at the 24-mile mark, we've officially gone past the range we were able to get on the InMotion Climber. And we're still making good progress here, and we still got plenty of juice left in the tank. Another quick update here. We just passed the 26-mile mark, which means that we have now surpassed the range that we were able to get on the new KQI 300X. So as you can see, this VMAX VX2 Extreme has got quite the performance today. All right, let's see how this thing does coming down this curb. Okay, no rubbing or anything, so we're okay with ground clearance there. Acceleration, I will say now that we're down to about the 30% mark on this scooter, you do feel a reduction in acceleration, so it's not as punchy as it was at the beginning. Still, you know, really good power, but you can definitely feel diminished performance, which is to be expected with any of these electric devices. Go ahead and power on through this intersection here. Still have enough power to get through that nice and quickly. And here we go. As you can see, yeah, that's that slower acceleration that we've got right now, which will likely continue to slow down as we rack up more miles and drain that battery even further. Nice thing about a scooter like this being small is it's very nimble, so you can kind of power through this stuff very easily. We officially crossed the 30-mile mark. We've been riding around for about 2 hours and 8 minutes at this point. Screen is telling us that we've got about 5% battery remaining. Voltage, on the other hand, is sitting around 43.1. So I think we've got a little more juice in the tank than what the screen is showing us. All right, folks, I'm not sure, but we might have to do a little bit of walking today. Voltage is about 42.9, 43 volts, so we are near the bottom of this battery. Top speed, I mean, hey, we're still able to hit 12, 13 miles an hour, but things are quite a bit slower at this point. You can definitely feel major slowdown and acceleration and all that fun stuff. All right, so I just activated the cruise control function by hitting the power button 3 times. And now, you know, after about 5 or 6 seconds of maintaining a certain speed, it locks into cruise control, which you can see on the screen. Well, maybe you can't. There's a little cruise control icon at the top letting us know we're cruising. But yeah, I mean, we're at the very bottom of the battery at this point. So I have a feeling this thing is gonna, you know, stop working for us here very shortly. Every little bit we get right now is that much less pushing this scooter back to our starting point. Looks like our top speed is about 12, 13 miles an hour. We got a little hill here. Just perfect timing to eat away the precious amount of battery we have left. And let's see if we'll have enough power to make it across this intersection. That'll be interesting. All right, here we go. Throttle's all the way in. We're putting along. Oh, we made it. All right. Showing 0% on the screen, 0 bars remaining, and 40.2 volts. So we're literally at the bottom of the barrel at this point. Now that's under load. You know, if I hit the brakes here, turn off cruise control, voltage does creep up a little bit, 40.9 volts. So we should be at the cutoff here any second now. Now normally I don't recommend draining your battery this far. You know, for, you know, battery longevity and things like that. You know, you don't want to cut it off this low, but I'm doing it for demonstration purposes, so you have an idea of what the cutoffs and everything are for this scooter. Okay, so even though we're in cruise control, I am feeling our speed slowing down here a bit. All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and call it here. So there you have it. On this particular ride, we went 32.58 miles. We had an average moving speed of 14.9 miles an hour. We hit a top speed of 21.9 miles an hour, 577 feet in elevation gain, and today we were cruising around for 2 hours, 22 minutes. So overall, very good performance out of this VMAX VX2 Extreme GT. I mean, on this little 46-pound scooter, we were able to crank out over 32 miles, which is absolutely insane to me. So definitely got performance on par with much larger commuter scooters, but in a much smaller form factor. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, thoughts, concerns. Happy to address those in the comment section below. And if you do want to pick up one of these scooters, I will include an affiliate link as well as any available coupons. And if you use that to make your purchase, it absolutely helps support this channel and keeps the wheels moving on future reviews. As always, thank you so much for tuning into Tom's Gadget Garage. We'll see you next time.